Day 35, here we go. Jesus is the captain of our salvation. My uncle wrote a song called The Captain. It was a kind of a big Southern gospel song. It just talks about the captain. And this is kind of one of the lesser known names or titles of God. It specifically applies to Jesus. When you read in the King James Version, Hebrews chapter 2, verse 10, it says this, "For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings." The Greek behind this word is translated as captain. It can also be called author or even prince, but I love this word captain because it gives us such a great picture of who Jesus is. This isn't captain of the football team. This is captain of like a military order, captain, a leader, a good leader. He guides his team, which means that he encourages and corrects. You're not a good captain if you don't correct someone who's making mistakes and causing problems. You train them and you teach them. You use those mistakes to help grow them into a better part of the team. But a good captain does correct when those mistakes are made. He encourages, so he doesn't just beat people down. He motivates them to keep advancing. He guides them even into moments of retreat. That's what a good captain does. He recognizes what's going on around him for the good of everyone involved. The captain makes decisions, and the captain typically eats last, so he's self-sacrificing. We know that describes Jesus. It's a beautiful description of Jesus. He does this. He doesn't ask his followers to do something that he's not willing to do. He sets the example for those whom he leads. When we see Jesus, he went to the cross to die for our sins. He modeled what that means. So when he tells us later, take up your cross and follow me, Jesus did that. We know that he did that. Jesus did so much for us to show us how to live this life. That's one of the most beautiful gifts that he's given. It's one of the most beautiful things we can read in his word is, all right, if Jesus lived this way, how should we live? If Jesus loved, how should we love? If Jesus reacted this way, how should we react? It sets the example. We know, though, that it says this in Hebrews 10, that he was made perfect through sufferings. How did Jesus handle suffering that helped make him perfect? That he already was, but how did he prove that perfection? So when we suffer, how are we living in that same way? Here's one thing that's true. We will never suffer more from following Jesus than Jesus did by coming down to save us. I'm so thankful he was willing to do that. The question today is, as we think about Jesus, the captain of our salvation, is how is he leading you? How are you following his example with your sufferings, with your pain, with your frustration? What are you doing to model the lordship of Jesus Christ in your life today? How did it look yesterday? Do you have a track record of following the leadership of your captain? Can you see that in your own growth? What needs to change? As you think about this, as you journal about this, as we get closer and closer to wrapping this thing up as far as the fast goes and coming together to worship together and celebrate the empty tomb together, how is Jesus leading you? What's one thing he's leading you to do today? Take some time to journal about it, think about it, write about it, pray about it. I'd love to hear